Hey, y'all, listen, welcome into the building. What is today? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's the day after election. And child, last night all I was seeing was red, 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 red. And I said, you know what? Let me go to bed, because it was crazy. But I have to say this. We voted. The people voted, and this is where we're at. And all I can say is no matter what, keep your head up. If you pray even more, because this is what we did. Okay, this is what the people did. But when I tell you I read the comments, I do read the comments. I can't literally like respond to every single one of them, but I do read the comments. And somebody said to me, yeah, I was called the same. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was surprised. I don't know. I didn't know what to think about this election. But before I go into that, let me say this. I still feel like Kamala is a winner because what she did, and what did she have, like 3-4 months? What she did in a short amount of time is remarkable. It really is. And even though she did not win, what she did was totally remarkable. And what I want to back up and say is this: it's like men are unfortunately not ready for women to rule anything. Someone had told me in the comments in one of my videos, they said, Diva, men don't even, in some churches, men are not even ready for females or women to be preachers. And I was thinking about that, and I said, oh, shucks. That is a very true statement. I know a lot of churches that still to this day, and we're in 2024, just do not want to accept a female preacher or pastor or a female bishop. So could you imagine having a female president? So this thing was multi-layered. Defeat that Kamala Harris was up against. She was up against just being a woman in power. She was up against being a woman of color that was going to be in power on that level. And she was up against men who truly were not able to handle, seeing a woman take over that particular position. So for her to be up against all of those barriers, and for her to come like to the level that she did in this race, I'm extremely proud of her. Extremely proud of her. And I do feel like even though she didn't come victorious in the end in this particular race, I still feel like she was victorious and super, super proud of what she did in a short amount of time. Yes, very remarkable. But this all came down to all day today. Some of the news commentary was people was like, why do you think this was so? Why do you think that she didn't get like a lot of Latinos still voted for Trump. The men didn't really show up and show out for Kamala, and they was like, "Why do you think this is?" And you know, the one article we're going to address tonight is on my channel is that people said is it came down to economics. Really, they really feel that Kamala probably couldn't have did no more. They really feel that it came down to economics. And they're saying that because the economics is in the gutter, and the thing that people can relate to is they felt better before when they had all of when the pandemic was here, and you know they had all of those government aids and those programs, and the people were like, you know what, this is, you know, this is when we felt better. This is when we felt financially secure. So that is what people go in their mind. So it comes down to the almighty dollar. Now, I'm going to make some connections here when we talk about this article where they're saying it came down to economics probably over everything, because I know sometimes y'all don't want to hear this, but I give it to you lightly right now. I ease the way in. I take the train. We're on the local road right now with the train. Okay, so we're not on the express train. We're on the local train. So I'm gonna take it to you slow and hope you'll catch this. Economics will have people doing stuff that they probably wouldn't do in another circumstance or situation. It's almost like people will accept and do anything for money. Think about everything that's going on in the world now. Think about some of our top stories. People have lost their natural mind and done all kinds of crazy things for the almighty dollar. Sold their soul. I keep it easy for you. We go to the Diddy case in Little Rod. Little Rod sat around working for Diddy for over a year, and he said he never got paid. So now you have our president-elect that out of his own mouth called people all kind of names, said all kind of things, all kind of craziness, and people like, I don't care. Why? Because they still feel the economy was better economic-wise when he was president before. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how Kamala, and you know, shout out to all the people that was on the Kamala side, because not sore losers. There has been no craziness. There has been no riots. There has been nobody saying, oh, the people cheated. They was like, okay, the votes are in. They said he won. Kamala, a class act, called him and said, congratulations. And she conceded. She's a class act. And no matter what y'all think or say, I would say, give it up to Kamala Harris, because she did the darn thing. So we're going to talk about 50 Cent. And 50 Cent, listen, you know, if y'all follow me, I just say vote for who you want to vote for, do what you do. But 50 Cent and a lot of men 10 toes down for Trump. So he congratulated, you know, Trump on his win. Now, buckle your seatbelts, people. We are on a local train, but I still need you to buckle your seatbelt, because there may be some turbulence. I also was sitting around talking to some friends, and you want to know the unfortunate part? The unfortunate part is, I don't know if I want to say a lot of men, or if I want to say a lot of black men. But we're going to talk here. Just buckle your seatbelt. They don't even like the black female. So I guess I had to wake myself up and say, why am I shocked that many of them saying that they're not going to vote for Kamala when they don't even vote for their everyday sister that's next door to them, that lived in the house with them, that helped raise them. They don't even like us. So how could we, or why would we expect them to go vote for her when they not even in their everyday life voting for us? It's a lot, people. But if we're going to talk about it, we got to talk about it. We wanted our black men to wake up and go vote for a black sister, and they wouldn't even vote for us. We're going to talk about it. Are you here? You're ready to talk? You're ready to have a adult conversation about this thing? They're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about this mother who, I want to say, 3 children. She got family. She had friends. She had a boyfriend. I want to say he is the biological father of her children. These children were in the home, malnutrition, starving to death. And now her family want to talk about, well, she was abused and, yada, 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 who. So, and unfortunately, one of the children is no longer alive, a 4-year-old. When they came and got the 4-year-old, the 4-year-old was 19 pounds. A 4-year-old. And now the family's saying, well, CPS fell, this one fell, that one fell, because she made phone calls, this, that, and that. She's 10 toes down that she never kept food from the children. The lies she tells. So my thing is, if I am being abused by my partner, let me say this to you loud and clear. If the kids aren't eating, my kids that I carried in my stomach, that I gave birth to, and this man is dogging me out, and nobody can eat in that house, I'm not going to eat a piece of chicken, a French fry, a burger, nothing. And my kids are starving. It's just not going to happen. She had 3 children in that house, not going to school, didn't go to school, starving to death. 2 of them now are gaining weight, and they're on liquid diets. Liquid diets. Come on now, Shan, feed the kids. So the end of the day, they're charging her with the M word, and rightfully so. And now she wants to cry victim. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. A kid is no longer here. So you're going to have to do the time. A 4-year-old is no longer here. And the way they found that home was absolutely disgusting. We got stuff to talk about, people. It is Tuesday night. I'm backing up to election day. That's how much of a fog I'm in. It is Wednesday night trending topics, and the title is Seeing Red. It was so much red on that board last night on the news. I just had to lay down, pass out, and go to sleep. All right, the topics tonight is Kamala Harris, Trump, and 50 Cent backing him, and a mother who did not take care of her own seed. Listen, people, y'all know what I need in that chat. I see you, Tay-Tay, and I appreciate you. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. Somebody put in that chat, hashtag Seeing Red. And I see you. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Precious Gems. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and bring the people on in the building. And listen, today, y'all, I went to the View in New York. Okay, it was a good time. All right, thank you, Tay Tay. I appreciate you. Let me bring the people on in the building. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Mel. Hey, Felicia.
Hey,
Hey
Hey,
Diva, hey panel, hey chat, choo choo choo.
choo choo choo.
Hey
Hey,
y'all, hit the like button.
hey, hit the like button, seeing red. We're gonna go ahead and get right into this Kamala, Kamala story, and why Haiti and why the people, why the people felt that this came down to economics. Hey, Savannah. So let me go ahead and share screen. Uh, All right. So why Kamala Harris lost and why it wasn't close, okay? Americans are deeply dissatisfied with the brutal economy and punish Democrats over it. So this is an article in Rolling Stones. They really feel that it came down to the economics of it all. Let me wait. It happened again. Democrats lost a winnable election to a racist. I see how they feel. Listen, this is not diva words because y'all know I do not call names over here. Orange makeup wearing carnival barker, despite his immorality and his corruption. This time, Donald Trump campaigned on an even darker agenda. The mass deportation of migrants calls for more violent policing and demands of retribution against his enemies. And he didn't have to try to steal the election in the courts or via a violent coup. In the battleground states, he is paying to have run the table, and he will likely win the popular vote outright, something a Republican hasn't done in 2 decades. There are plenty of factors that could help explain why Vice President Kamala Harris lost and why the race ultimately was not that close. Joe Biden's crushing unpopularity, pervasive sexism, racism, xenophobia, and American culture that stupidly valorizes the ultra wealthy and licks their boots. There was the Harris campaign decision to run a safe campaign from Democrats' favorite failed playbook, be like Republicans. There was her refusal to break from Biden over his support for Israel's war in Gaza. And that plays out our scenes daily and has particularly affected young people. The most likely explanation, however, for why Harris lost in the most basic one, Americans are deeply dissatisfied with a brutal economy. After Washington put an end to COVID era pandemic aid programs, Americans suffered 2 years of sky high inflation, affecting the price of nearly everything, alongside higher interest rates, which drove up credit card rates, mortgage rates, the cost of car loans, and more. Amid a punishing cost of living crisis, voters have now punished Democrats. Exit polls and other survey results coming out of the 2024 election are incredibly clear that the contest was, as often the case, about the economy. Stupid. Edison Research exit polls show that 2/3 of voters believe the state of America's economy is poor or not so good. 69% of them voted for Trump. Asked what the most important issue in their vote was, 31% of voters said the economy, and 79% of those voters supported Trump. The Fox News voter analyst survey results offer similar findings. 63% of respondents said the state of the economy is poor or not so good, and 68% of them said they were supporting Trump. Among the 39% of respondents who said the economy and jobs are the most important issue facing the country, 60% said they were backing Trump. Similarly, 40% of the respondents said the single most important factor in their votes is high prices for gas, groceries, and other goods. 64% of them said they were supporting Trump. There's good reason to distrust that Trump's 2025 agenda will financially benefit the average American. His plan to impose widespread tariffs on imported goods will raise prices for consumers. His plan to preserve his tax cuts for rich and further slash the corporate tax rate will surely once again primarily benefit the wealthiest Americans. Trump has promised to give a top administration role to the world's richest man, Elon Musk, who pledged to impose major spending cuts that would involve some temporary hardship. But Americans enraged about the economy were not voting for Trump's economic agenda in particular. They were simply registering their disapproval of the state of the economy as it stands today. The election cycle, there has been a prevailing wisdom among some Democrats and the broader pundit class that Americans are wrong to think the economy is bad. In fact, it's great. Why the gloom? Perhaps folks are misremembering their own financial situations during the Trump era. Don't people know that inflation has finally slowed? Have they seen those GDP growth charts? Early in the pandemic, the U.S. Census Bureau started asking Americans questions that state of their household, including whether it's difficult to pay typical household expenses. When Trump lost in 2020, the percent of Americans who said it was difficult to pay their bills was around 34%. That figure climbed until Congress passed new pandemic aid programs, at which it dropped considerably. As those aid programs came to a close, the percent of Americans struggling to pay their bills spiked, and Biden approval ratings fell. Ending pandemic aid combined with inflationary price hikes, and higher interest rates created a financial disaster that has not ended. As of September, 37% of Americans reported having difficulty paying their typical household expenses, a slight uptick from earlier this year. That brutal financial reality created a brutal 2024 political environment for Democrats and helped Republicans deliver a knockout blow. I connected with that. I'm going to go around and y'all will let me know your thoughts. Katrina, your thoughts?
Okay. My thoughts are they said that they voted for him because of inflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's planning on putting tariffs on all this stuff, so the inflation is going to be higher than what we're paying now. And another thing I told y'all before, these people are price gouging. There is no reason for these prices to be as high as they are. There is no shortage on none of this stuff. I told you once before, when people stopped shopping at Aldi's and Target, they brought their prices down. These people are charging what they want to charge in these stores. These prices don't have to be that high. And then they saying this man gonna get in and get rid of the inflation. First of all, Biden has brought the inflation down from what it was. And when Trump got into the office, he was living off the back of Obama. So that's why he had a smooth section when he was in there. And now he got Elon Musk, the man with the computers, the robots. Only thing they're finna do now is replace the human people that work in these jobs because a robot can work 24 hours a day and don't have to stop and don't have to worry about overtime. You got this man who making a robot to have a baby. What the baby gonna come out sucking on? Batteries? This is totally ridiculous. And for these people to vote this man into office, it wasn't about no inflation. I thought they said they was voting him in because they was worried about the border. The border need to be shut down. We worried about the border. These people coming over here, and the same people, the same immigrants and migrants that voted for him, they're gonna be the first ones that he ship out. The same thing with the Puerto Ricans. He didn't say that. The comedian said it. But this man hang around with this man, so he's feeling the same way as this man. So you honestly think that everybody around this man they have these racist agendas, but he's not. But that the thing of it is, they got him in there. So when they don't get their checks on the first and the third, we gonna see what Trump gonna do for them then. When they go to the mailbox or when they look into their bank account, they don't see that deposit. We gonna see what Trump gonna do for them then. When they go look at their EBT cards, we gonna see what's gonna happen then because he gonna give you that dry milk, the food with the little, the canned food with the chicken on it, with the pig on it, and the cow. That's what he wanted to do before he left office. He wanted to give you a box meal instead of giving people food stamps. So when you got kids at home throughout the summer and they're not getting federal programming for food or whatsoever, we gonna see what you gonna do then. So you worried about inflation, you worried about tariffs. So when this start, and when Vance said himself that the price is gonna be higher, you have to be a little higher in order for things to work out. So y'all was saying this about Biden. We gonna see what you gonna say about Trump, because Trump is gonna raise your prices up higher. There's no shortage on none of this stuff. These people doing this so they can say Biden was not doing his job when they wasn't reporting that this man was doing his job. They wanted this man to look bad. They wanted this woman to look bad. They said, what did she do when she was in there for 4 years? First of all, vice president is just it's a glorified name. She got no more power than a lieutenant governor. If the lieutenant governor doesn't have any power, just like the regular governor, when he's out of power, that's when the lieutenant governor steps up, just like the vice president. She cannot do anything to override what Biden has done. But if Biden was a smart man, which I think he is, I think he should pass power over to Kamala so she could be the 47th president and she can make decisions before January. That's what I think need to happen, and I hope he do. I hope he put that in his mind to happen. And if I was him, I would do it, because I would pardon my child. I would not leave my child in no prison. When this man is planning on letting all these other people out of prison, I would not leave my child in there. If y'all can call me a liar, you can say whatever. My child is getting out this prison, because why? This man's getting these other people out of prison. He's paying $2 million for people to get pardons. So why would I get my child out? I would get my child out. I don't care what nobody would say. They call you a liar. They say you're not doing your job. Don't leave your child in there. Get him out. That's all I got.
Whew. Mel, your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I agree. You know what the caller said before about the price gouging. That was something I've been thinking about. I really have, because I feel that as soon as he gets in office next year, then automatically we're going to see the eggs go down from $12 to $2 probably. And I feel like a lot of those people that was doing that, those major corporations are connected to him in some way, because it was just too much perfect time. As soon as the elections start really heating up, the eggs go. I'm like, come on. So I mean, that was just one of those points. But um, yeah, I was a little shocked about everything. But at the end of the day, we've seen the Trumpsters, complain for 9 years, cry and complain and whine for 9 years. Well, now you have the country, and now we, the people, can also complain about the way it's being ran. The simple fact is that it's a joke to me that people go, well, I was trying to protect my family. I mean, we supposed to protect our family from criminals, not put them into office. We shouldn't be putting them into the highest office in the land. You're protecting your family from who? You should be protecting your family from people like Trump. So that was confusing to me. What else I was going to say? Oh my gosh, it was a lot. I'm sorry, I was thrown off. But yeah, it was just it was definitely a lot, and it's over. And I vote for Kamala Harris, and you know, um, yeah, that's just what I feel about that.
Appreciate you. Thank you. You're up.
Well, hello there. Um, First, let me say Kamala lost the popular vote,
Mhm.
and I acknowledge and receive that information. I'm not going to be like the other side and say there was cheating going on. No, that I'm not going to go there.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot I could say. I could say, well, what about the mailboxes with the burnt up ballots that we saw with the things set on fire? I could mention the people who were turned away at the polls allegedly because the addresses on their license did not match the address on the voting record,
Mhm.
or mention the lackluster threats that certain polling locations received in Georgia that forced some schools that served as polling locations to close temporarily on yesterday, that the news blamed on Russia, who, some people would tie back into Trump. I'm not even going to go there. What I will say is I will acknowledge that there was a 5 million vote difference as far as popularity between the two candidates. And over 72 million people voted for Project 2025. They voted for hatred, white supremacy, and divisiveness. And, you know, we have to go along for the ride, even though, this wasn't what we wanted because this was the popular vote. And this article wants me to put on top of the hatred, white supremacy, and divisiveness that people voted this way due to the economy. And I've been thinking about that. Um, it is tough out here. There are some people who are robbing Peter to pay Paul. That cannot be disputed. Some people were able to thrive and maintain a certain level of lifestyle to which they had become accustomed to um, during the Trump administration, during the pandemic, and now after. And it's a scary place for all of us. And I acknowledge that. But I have to get this straight. When Donald John took office in 2016, hate crimes and Black and brown people experiencing harassment in the workplace quadrupled. And
Mm.
I'm not sure why so many people forget that when they are thinking of voting for the economy. That was a stressful time as well. People working 2 and 3 jobs and dealing with a manager, uh, you know, and these microaggressions. And not only that, hiring discrimination. There are some people and there have been some people who are not Black and brown who work in HR who have videos on YouTube who will say when they see applications and they cannot pronounce the name or it sounds too ethnic, they put it in the trash. They're on film saying this. So it's not something that I'm making up. But the MAGA cult was showing out in 2016 when Dump took office. And if nobody has told those 72 million folks who voted out of anger, bigotry, and what I would consider lack of intelligence, on top of being financially insecure due to no fault of their own, I will tell you, Donald Dump is not going to make the rent cost any lower, period. Dump is not going to make your electricity bill any lower. I don't care how many times he says, drill, baby, drill. Trust me, my bill is $200 a month and it's just me and my child. It's a lot, I know. But the cost of living will not decrease, just as sure as single cans of pop or soda will never be 25 cents again. The
Amen.
Dollar Tree will never sell things under $1 again. Those little bags of chips, with you could probably count 25 chips in there and the bag is full of air. When you go to work at the vending machines, they will never be 50 cents again. Okay. So this idea that he is going to somehow make it like it was, because that's his slogan, we got to make it great again, it's not going to happen. Get over it. You thought you were screwed before. Well, get ready to spread it just a little bit wider. And this time it won't be any Vaseline because you have royally screwed yourself. And so I hope you got some pleasure from it because I keep seeing on so many people's comments, well, I'm just going to sit back and pull out my popcorn because his press secretary or whoever that woman was who works for him beginning in January said that we're ready to go with our mass deportation. And which brings me to my last point because I wanted to end on a positive note, especially when it comes to, well, I did, if I may, you know, I wanted to say something nice because I was so proud that Black women were on one accord. I expected nothing less. But I'm so proud to say that over 70% of Black men showed up and voted for Harris. I believe the numbers were 75 or 78%. I was pleased with that. It could have been more, but to the other 20+% of Black men who didn't, I don't see you and I'm not going to acknowledge you in this moment because I want to keep it positive. But where I was extremely outdone looking at the numbers, I saw the 57 of white men who voted for Trump. I expected that. But where I was shocked, it was between the 45 and 48% of Latin men who came out and voted for a man who proudly put a comedian, quote unquote, on stage, who said that the island of Puerto Rico was a floating island of garbage. You know, it's shocking to me. And so when the numbers of men, as far as the Latin men and the white men, I understand why the white men would do that. The Latin men, I think you have some explaining to do. And when that woman said that they're already prepping for this mass deportation that they're going to do, so many people in the comments, um, I'm just going to say, get ready, because like I said, I hope you got some pleasure from it, because baby, this is a red light special. It's going to be all 4 years long.
Ooh, I appreciate you, E. And yes, let me go here, edit polls. Hold on one second. So white men, 34% of them, 39% voted for Harris, 59 for Trump. White women, 47% for Harris, 52 for Trump. Black men, 78% for Harris, 20% for Trump. Black woman, 92% for Harris, 7% for Trump. Hispanic Latino men, 44% for Harris, 54% for Trump. Latino woman, 61% for Harris, 37% for Trump. And all other voters was 50 for Harris and 45% for Trump, and 5% was somewhere in the middle. So the black man, go ahead.
Yes, Diva, you're right, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but someone in the comments keeps saying, get over it, and I want them to know, I am over that. I still feel like the history books would love to know why Latin men chose to vote that way, and people are curious. But be clear, I was born here, and not to say that that makes me any better, because people who were born here, we are at risk too. We are facing dangers as well, even being natural citizens. But to sit here and say that Latin men owe nobody an explanation, oh, you do owe somebody an explanation, because
Come on.
uh, you will have to answer to
Hmm.
somebody. And when all your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, your grandmammies, and your grandpappies are are sailing away, listen, you will have to answer to somebody. And I'm just gonna leave it there.
Thank you, E. Appreciate you. Julius, you're up.
So I want to say this. Yes, was I upset at the result? And did I feel uneasy about it? And am I worried? Yes, those are natural human feelings. But I want to make one thing clear. I was not surprised by his win. Because I have been saying for a while, I was cautiously opti- op, op, that goes with it. But I expected the worst. And I had like a feeling, a vision, um, for like the past month, and the vision was all over the place. It didn't make any sense. And today I don't have those goosebumps or that vision or anything like that. I will say this. I may not agree with the decision.
Mhm.
But as a student trustee who had to take an oath, I will respect it. And it's not so much his win. It's some of the supporters that are coming out and feeling emboldened to truly share their views and to be belittling of others and everything else. That is not of God. And I'm going this spiritual route for the rest of my answer is God is love. Love is love. No one is better than the other. So if you choose to lead with hatred and think that you are better than another person, then I would encourage you to look internally spiritually and have God truly guide you to the enlightenment. That's it.
Thank you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Good evening, everybody.
Good
To
evening.
God the glory. We still on this side.
Yes, amen.
And we can still speak, and we can
Yes.
still voice our opinions, and we can still work at getting the work done. I've got a lot of things I want to say, but I think most importantly, I have a big message to send out on this YouTube medium tonight.
Okay.
And I'm going to speak specifically to the concept of identity politics. Now, some may ask, what is identity politics? What is meant by that? So, identity politics is based on a particular identity, such as ethnicity, race, nationality, religion, denomination, gender, sexual orientation, social background, social class, so forth, and so on. So, this is where I'm entering for those who are open to listening. So I was given the opportunity to read some data and hear some data this morning. And this one particular group of folks in this country is who I'm talking about right now. So if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm talking about the uneducated, unproductive, porn addicted, weed smoking, video game playing Gen X who is Black, Latino, white, or an Arab American who is male. I personally am starting a movement. So come Saturday, November 9th, 2024 is eviction day.
Oh my God.
Time for you to pack your things and get the hell out. You're sitting up there smoking the weed, watching the porn, and being mad and angry at the women who are going out there and holding it down, housing you, feeding you, making love to you, and you mad and angry and full of hate.
Oh my God.
Let's get it together now. November
Come
9th,
on, Pastor. Preach, Pastor. Come on now.
2024
Lady congregation say
is
amen.
eviction day.
Oh God.
Who am I talking about? Black, Latino, white, and Arab American men, particularly the Generation Xers. Okay? You don't believe a woman who is qualified, not qualified, who's Black, she's pink, she's Asian, she's American, but she's American, smart, talented, accomplished, cannot lead the country. But one such woman could lead the household. You know the one I'm talking about. The one when you've been smoking weed and jacking off all day. And when she come in from work, you asking for the $20 so you can get the weed for tonight. That's who I'm talking about. She holding down the household. And you are angry and mad and pissed off. November 9th is eviction notice day, folks. If you're harboring, housing one of these losers, put them out. Ain't nobody up here in my place living with me, that mad with me, want to get up here and talk about you can't lead. We ain't voting for no woman. Now, identity politics. I'm not saying all of them, but you can identify perhaps with an SAer, a convicted felon. Somebody got their mugshot up here. Somebody who scams and lies and cheats. Somebody who wants to overthrow the government. Somebody who's rebellious. Disrespects his wife, his children, an adulterer. Here comes the identity politics. A bum. November 9th, throw the bums out. I'm done.
Well, yesterday was election day. November 9th is eviction day. Felicia has spoken. Savannah, your thoughts?
Wow. Um, this is this is intense. So what is undeniable today, November 6th, that 45 is now 47. And he won by a decisive victory. And the country has spoken. The American people have spoken. What is also a fact that this morning the markets posted sharp gains. The
It
Dow
did.
rose more than 3%, and it closed on a record high. And that tells me that the economy is why there was a red wave yesterday. Also, as much as we like them, because I as well, I held out to see who her VP choice was. But Walz was a bad candidate. He was a bad choice for a VP candidate because a candidate that can't even win his own state tells me that there's a. So this huge red wave should send a message to the whole Democratic Party that the working class people feel abandoned. And when we go to the grocery stores now, we're having to balance. Eggs are $5 a 12 pack or 18 pack. Bread is $3 to $4. Milk is another $4. And if you have a child, I can't even think of what that grocery bill is. So yesterday was a clear alarm to the Democratic Party that you can't buy votes and you can't expect a certain demographic of the American citizens to fall in line because we listen to the same music or our skin colors are alike in some way. But making comments that, you know, your grandpappies and your grandmommies are going to be sailing away implies that they're here illegally. And according the last time I studied it, according to the U.S. Constitution, Section 611, voting by aliens, it shall be unlawful for any alien to vote in any election held solely or in part of purpose of electing a candidate for office of president, vice president, elector, and so on and so forth. So this notion that illegal immigrants are what tipped the scale in this election is why there was a red wave yesterday. The Latino community don't owe anybody an explanation on why they did what they did. In particularly men. It is one of those anomalies that I don't understand. I've said it before. My family is from Miami-Dade County, heavily populated by Cubans who vote primarily Republican, because it is their values, their family values that align. Now, I'm not talking about this clown buffoonery that they have as a puppet, because it is not about the person that's at that podium. It is about the cabinet that is behind him that is going to set laws and ideas in motion that are going to restrict us from doing the things that we hold dear as free liberties. That is going to make my job difficult every day. And what happened before in the 2016 presidency, there was people there that were gatekeepers, that were buffers, that were protectors. General Milley, Mad Dog, General Marine General, I can't even think of his name. Oh my goodness. But Mattis. we had a lot of great leaders that held the constitutions that we all enjoy of, whether you're Latino, Arab American, African American, even Caucasian, because I know we have a lot of passengers that join us and listen to us at night that are of every race. So I take great offense to that this is being put on the shoulders of Latinos, because we're constantly getting blamed, we're constantly getting kicked. But when we go out, I drive around many towns, and I see that it is the Latino men who are out there breaking their backs, chopping up cement, building, just so that they can get minimum wage and support their families. So I take offense to a lot of the discussion tonight, and I want this to be a lesson that we have a lot of work to do. And this isn't on Kamala Harris. I think this is on us. I think this here, a lot of Democrats stayed home. And I'm not a Democrat, but a lot of Democrats stayed home. Men, women, and young Americans, because that's where a lot of his votes came from, the young Americans. So we have a lot of work to do in our own communities. And who among us went out there, knocked on doors, got people to register to vote, took people to the polls? Not many of us did. Not many of us did. And they didn't have to do the work. They knew what was going on. So
thank you, Savannah. I appreciate you. Okay, so let me even the flow of the temperature in the room really quickly, right? As a channel owner and the moderator here of the conversation, we always want everybody to have their they can express their thoughts, right? But in the expression of thoughts, if anybody is offended, I want to say on behalf of anyone who was offended by any thought process that came across on the panel, please accept an apology on my behalf. But if I'm going to have a panel, I do have to allow the panel to say their thoughts, and I can't, monitor their thoughts. So again, but I do not, I do not like for anybody to feel like they were stung in the side. But so on that note, accept an apology on my behalf. All right. So Emmanuel, your thoughts?
Well, I stayed up all night. I was very shocked by the results. I think that I was shocked, as everyone else has mentioned, by how big his win was. Never did I think he would win every single swing state and the popular vote. Honestly, going into election day, I thought she would pull it out. I thought she was going to pull it off and get those 3 battleground states, the so-called blue wall. So I'm shocked. I'm very shocked, not surprised, but well, before I say anything, I do gotta give credit to the Vice President Kamala Harris, because she did the best that she could have done with what she was given. And she was, for all intents and purposes, kind of put in as the candidate out of nowhere in such a short amount of time. So she was not perfect. Obviously she's human, but she went to many places. She did many interviews. She tried to get into spaces where she could try and talk to everyday normal voters, and she tried very hard to win over moderates and independents and even Republicans. I think that being able to shake things up in a few months is impressive. So I gotta commend her, and I gotta say good job with that. The problem is, we can talk about sexism, racism, which I'm, I'm sure it played a factor. I would never deny that. We can also talk about how bad Trump was, how he was a convicted felon, impeached, just a reckless person. But it comes down to this: the Biden administration was and is extremely unpopular. And I don't think it's fault, but I think that any Democrat would have lost this election simply because the Biden administration has a negative perception when it comes to the economy, immigration, and foreign policy. But I believe it really comes down to the economy. Somebody said, I think it might have been on The View, I can't remember, I watched a lot of shows, but he said, when you have an outcome like this, where Trump beat his own record, where Kamala did worse than Biden and worse than Hillary, this was a statement. This was a statement done by the American people. So we can sit here until the cows come home and blame Latinos and men and white women and Muslim voters. But the exit polls showed that the majority of Americans said that they thought the country was in the wrong path. And over 40% of them blamed it on the economy. A lot of people also said on these exit polls that since 2020, they haven't had $1,000 in personal savings in the bank. Whether or not that's Biden's fault, that's what people perceive. So whether we disagree or not, when these people in all of these states that he won go to the grocery store to buy bacon, eggs, bread, and milk, they're not thinking, is Trump a threat to democracy? Is Kamala a woman? Is she a woman of color? No, they're not thinking about that. Some, yes, of course, there's always going to be racists and sexists who will never vote for her because of that. But like I said, this was, again, it came down to the economy. And Bernie Sanders said it best today. The Democratic Party has lost its appeal with the working middle class. And I really don't think that it helped that she had all these celebrity endorsements. LeBron James, J-Lo, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. These are not ordinary everyday Americans who have to worry about their paycheck. And also, with, by the way, everything that's been coming out about these celebrities, Diddy and all that, why even rely on celebrities? Why did they have Cardi B up at a rally with a phone? And why did they have Megan Thee Stallion twerking? That's not what people wanted to see. Last thing I'll say, when you don't understand why the outcome is what it is, the real reasons, it is because you are naive and it's going to lead them to lose again. So stop blaming voters. They don't owe you an explanation. None of them do. If a particular party's message appealed to them, then that's what appealed to them. They're not going anywhere, so y'all want to kick them out. That's not going to happen. So everyone needs to calm down. Everything is going to be okay. No, we're not going to be living under a dictatorship. We're going to be fine. And that's pretty much it. And also, I want to give a huge shout out to our one and only Savannah, because I know that she worked very hard this election to get people out and vote. So credit to her. And thank you, Diva, for clearing up that some of those comments that I too found offensive. But thank you for your explanation about that. And that's pretty much it.
And thank you. The Don, you're in the building. Your thoughts?
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to speak on facts.
Oh, shoot.
And not feelings.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
So Donald Trump said when he first ran for president that the people who would vote for him are the uneducated people that don't read and don't understand facts. He said it. Let's start there. He said that the people who he wants to vote for him are uneducated people that don't read for themselves. So when he inherited his presidency, he inherited a great economy. He got that. And then came the disaster known as COVID, which he screwed up, which he told us to drink bleach, go out in the sun, it'll go away. He screwed up the economy. The Democrats then approved a stimulus check for these broke people.
Oh my God.
For $1,200 a month that he held up because he wanted his signature on it. And all the stupid, uneducated people that don't read for themselves said, this man is giving us free money. And then they went and got PPP loans.
Oh my God.
As well. Because they were freely giving them out. And they didn't read the fine print because they're now coming after you for them. So I've never known some of the brokest people in my life that $1,200 a month made you vote for this felon who freely said he can grab a woman's cat, who got on a mic and performed oral sex, who cheated on his first wife with his second wife, and his second wife with his third wife, and had cheated on everybody else in between. Family values. Who not only threatened the lives of women across this country because he said that women deserve to be punished if they decide to get abortions. He said that. So I'm not going on feelings, I'm going on facts. The facts say that 25% of Black men voted for Trump in Pennsylvania.
Hold up, Don. Please stop using vulgar language in the chat. We can't have that. So please watch your wording. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina.
25% of Black men voted for Trump in Pennsylvania. Those are facts. Because they are broke. And that stimulus check changed their lives for 6 or 7 months. They think if he gets back in office, because I've seen it myself, that they're going to get another $1,200. That he's going to write them another check. It is stupid and idiotic. Black men don't read.
Oh my God.
Black men, I hate to say it, but we are some of the most, even though we are uneducated to a fault. We could have all the degrees in the world, but we don't have common sense. We would vote for this man like he has our best interests at heart, and he doesn't. People think Project 2025 is a joke. And Florida is the ground zero for Project 2025. They had a 60% of the voter turnout to see if abortion was going to be legal in Florida yesterday. The Republicans pushed it from 50% to 60% because they knew it was going to be hard to get to 60% for abortion. They got to 57%. Those are facts. It is now illegal to get an abortion in Florida, which means women in Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, Georgia will now have to come to Virginia to get an abortion. But y'all lollying and patty caking this nigga like it's a good thing he's in office. Until your mama is on her back with her legs in the air. Or your daughter is on her back with her legs in the air with an unwanted pregnancy. And then you're going to be ready to fight somebody or take somebody's life. And I'm going to give the Latino men some. This man said he was going to deport the lady said it today, that day one, they were going to deport all of them back. And you know what I say? Send them back. Build a wall across the whole bottom of the United States. build it. Because some of the conversations I had, my Latino brothers and sisters are white adjacent when they get their citizenship. They don't feel like they're no longer Latino. No, you're not white. And these are personal conversations that I've had. You're still that word that they call you. So your family that's here illegally, they're going to be gone.
Oh my gosh.
And it ain't nothing you can do about it because you decided to vote for this man. Y'all think it's a joke. His first term, he had people in there that had guardrails on him because he didn't know what he was doing. He had people telling him, no, don't do this. But this time, he's choosing people that are yes men and women that are going to do and say everything he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. He's looking at the woman that was in charge of his trial in Florida to become his attorney general. One of the most unqualified federal judges in the United States of America to become his attorney general. But y'all think it's a joke. All y'all Negroes that vote for him, y'all haven't even opened up the manifesto to Project 2025. Y'all haven't even read the outline. This is real stuff that is about to happen. We're about to revert back to the 60s. Voter rights, it is hard for people to vote now in Texas. This is about to be over the whole United States of America. He has the Senate back now, which means all federal judges will be approved by the Senate again. Supreme Court judges will now be in the control of Republicans. Because we don't get our black selves and our Latino selves out and vote with our minds. We get ourselves out and vote because we think we're getting $1,200. It's not a fad to think, it's not cool to think that this man is going to come in office and just be chill. He has told you what he's going to do. And y'all think it's a joke. I hope your mama and your grandma's got plenty of money because Republicans are now coming after the Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare. So I hope they got enough to live off of because they want to reduce the deficit, which means they're coming after all of the WIC, all of the food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, all of it. The House hasn't been called yet. And if they get the House, it's a wrap. Christmas is coming early.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
But we think it's a joke. We ha-ha and kikiing because this man is back in office. Oh, he's not going to do anything. Y'all are crazy. Anytime you can sit up there and say you're going to put a bullet in an ex-congresswoman's head and y'all still vote for this crazy man because y'all don't read. But he did say it, Emmanuel. He said it.
No, he didn't. Are you talking
Yes,
about
he
Liz
did
Cheney?
say. He
Are you
said
talking about
it.
Liz
He
Cheney?
said it.
He
Go back
did.
on mute because you don't know what you're talking about.
Are you talking about Liz Cheney?
You don't. He said it, Emmanuel.
What, I'm asking you, are you talking?
You're one of the uneducated ones that I'm speaking of because he said it.
I'm asking you, are
So
you
you can
talking
go back
about
on
Liz
mute. It's my
Cheney?
time. You've already spoken. It's my time.
Okay, well, you said my name. That's why I responded.
Thank you for going back on mute. That's all you have to do is go on YouTube and look at him say it. He said he can put her in front of a firing squad. We think it's a joke for this man coming back in office. He said that he wants to get rid of the ex leader of the House, whose husband has already gotten beat up. But we think it's a joke. Build the wall. Send all of them back. And Black people, I hope you got enough money to take care of your elders. And learn how to read. Facts are facts.
Thank you to Don. Give me a minute, Mel. I'll come to you. Whew, it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. Buckle your seatbelts. And remember, over here, everybody has the right. I give everybody their moment to speak, everyone. Give everybody their moment to speak. And everybody has a right to speak what they want to speak. Felicia, your thoughts.
Thank you, Diva. If I may, I'd like to share with the panel who didn't get it and with the chat something that I shared with my friends and family this morning. And it's in reference to a poem that's titled First They Came. This was a poem written by Martin Niemöller as a criticism of the inaction of people in Nazi Germany. It highlights the importance of speaking out against injustice. It is about the silence of German intellectuals and clergy, including the author, Mr. Niemöller himself, following the Nazis' rise to power and subsequent incremental purging of their chosen targets, group after group. The poem reads, "First they came for the communist, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me." The Don, I want to thank you for speaking out tonight. Perhaps there can be a greater understanding of what the fears are that may lie ahead. That if we don't speak out, if we don't speak out for the disabled, for the veteran, for the handicapped, for the immigrant, for the Hispanics, the African Americans, the Palestinians, the Jews, for the Arabs, for the Christians, for the folks in the rural communities, for the poor, for the middle class families. If we don't speak out against injustice, who's going to be left? So after the Don has spoken, yes, I'm going to stand with him. Yes, Latino men should be held accountable for their choices. I'm done.
Mel, you wanted to speak?
I did, Diva, and thank you for that. Thank you so much. I want to say amen to Miss Felicia. That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to say to Mr. Don, I didn't know how to express myself after last night, and what you said was spot on. It was different than what I would have said, but I totally agree with you, brother. Totally, 100%. You know, for me, Diva, I've been up all night, so that's probably why I was a little different when I first started talking. But what I'm struggling with is that I'm seeing. I think Jules said this, and I was listening to everybody, and I was loving for the most part what people were saying. But Jules said this, and it stuck in my mind. He was saying that he was troubled by people online and in the different places gloating about what they won. They felt like they won something, and then what I wanted to say was that what did we win? What did we win? We have people in half this country saying they voted for moral and family values. And moral and family values do not connect with a criminal who is connected to allegedly with Jeffrey Epstein. That is not what I connect. I would want my children or anybody in my family who are young to be far, far away from these people. Also, there were voting that happened. I think about communities that have come here for safety and yet will vote for a person who is not very safe. You came from different countries that were very restrictive and would hold you down, but yet you vote for those kind of policies. That is very questioning to me. Now, I'm not judging anybody, but those are legitimate questions. Then the good thing is I don't have to listen to the people talk about how bad Kamala Harris was and Biden, how good Trump is. People who supported Trump always avoid the fact that this man is a criminal. I don't know how they do, but they always do. The simple fact is, thank you, God and Jesus. And I say with all reverence, I don't have to deal with that no more. It is over. It's totally wrapped up. And I don't have to deal with the people like that anymore. I just simply have to talk to the Divas and Dons and the Felicias and the E's and the people of the world who we can just sort of build together and come together so we can go through. We're not scared of anything. And if people want to go around and say that they lost, that they won something, well, good on you. If your prize is Donald Trump, then I feel sad for you. What I want is freedom. I want freedom from the fear that this man has put everybody through for the past 9 years. And so I could turn my back on him and now work because I know the plan. We know what the plan is. He's been talking about it for a long time. So thank you, Jesus. We know the plan. So now we can do our own independent work by ourselves. We don't have to connect with people who will lie in our faces and tell us, please convince me to vote for Kamala Harris. I knew that was a lie. I can't convince nobody they want to make fun of people. If somebody's going to vote for Donald Trump, it didn't matter, Diva, if he would have committed the most heinous crime on the cameras, they still would have voted for him yesterday. So that's kind of what we got. What we woke up this morning and realized is that America is a corporation. All they care about is money and business. They don't care about protecting children. And now people on that other part say, "Oh, we're protecting children." Hell no, you're not. You're protecting your bottom line. You went to that booth in fear. The simple fact is, when Donald Trump left office, there were hundreds and thousands of people who perished because the man thought that it was a joke when something was coming from a different country. He said it was fake news and that we should inject a Lysol in our lungs. That way we can do it. So, the good news is if people believe this is their savior, then I feel sorry for you. But the simple fact is I'm not following him until I feel very sorry for you. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions, but I thank you, God, that I don't have to talk to people like that support him anymore. I don't have to deal with those people anymore. I truly don't. And that's what I was going to say before. I feel totally liberated because for a long time we had to have conversations. Like, it was like, well, this is what I think. Kamala Harris didn't do anything wrong. You could have been a homeless person who would like to go on the train and sing loudly, and you would have still been better than Donald Trump. A person who could have been in a coma in the bed would have been a better choice than Donald Trump, in my opinion. The man was insane. It is insane. So, people can justify if they want to, but that man does not stand for moral values. You can talk to all the victims, the people who have nightmares about what he's done to them over the years and put lawsuits against him. They can go to hell with that. I'm sorry. That's what I feel about that, Ms. Deaver. I really do.
Thank you. Emmanuel, you wanted to say something else?
Okay, I just want to clarify. When I said in the chat, no, he didn't say that, it was because in the panel it was said that Trump said he wanted to put a bee in her head. And what I was saying is that it is not true, because what he actually said was that Liz Cheney always wants to go to war all across all these other countries in the world. So he said, how would she feel if she had all those cannons in her face like this military does? That's what he meant. So that's what when I say he didn't say that, he never said he wanted to put nothing through her head. So the Don, I respect you. That's what I meant by saying that he didn't say that. And no, listen, you said I'm one of those uneducated people. No, I did not vote for Trump. Never have, never will. My commentary was just to explain the other side, because it's important to do self-reflection, see why things happen the way they did. So don't say that to me again. Thank you.
Hey, Diva, I would like to rebuttal to that. On October 31st, while he was sitting with, I forgot the guy, Tucker Carlson, he said, let's put her up, line up 7 GUNs, and let them SHOUT at her, and see how she likes it. That's what he said.
But that's different than saying he wants to put a bee through her head, though.
He said, let's line up 7, let's line up 9, and let her stand right there. And okay, never mind. He said October 31st. It's in the Wall Street Journal. Go read it for yourself. It's fundamental.
So let's take it from this moment here.
Can I say something, Diva?
Yes,
Why do we make so many excuses for this man? Kamala Harris could say, I want to have fracking. No, I don't believe in fracking in January. And in June, she says, I'm for fracking. Everybody beats down on her. Why does she flip-flop? She's a flip-flopper. But we can make so many excuses for this orange, peach, tangerine man who says he has the purest white skin. Anything he says, it just glazes over like a fresh Krispy Kreme. That's my frustration. This Black woman can say anything and we beat her down to a bloody pulp. But this man actually says something and we come up with every excuse. He didn't mean it. He didn't say it like that.
So Dario, the realtor, are you real or are you a bot? If you're real, click on the link. I would love to hear your thought process on this. If you're real, click on the link. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. I would love for you to come up if you are really real and out there. Yeah. He's trolling. Yeah, I thought so. Listen, this was a very good conversation. I appreciate everyone for hanging in there. It represents a portion of the world of us having this conversation. And I will lean into something that Don just said. I'm baffled at wait, let me you got it. Let me hold on. I'll take you out for a minute, Felicia. Okay, you got it. I'm baffled at how do you want me to take you down for a minute? Okay, I'll pull you back up when it's ready. When you good, Felicia. I'm baffled at how this man is a convicted felon. This is not us, putting 2110. He's a convicted felon. He's been convicted of are accused of, or SA and all of that stuff, right? And we're saying, let him be, because now we elected him to be our president, right? But then you got Diddy, and you know, I don't want nobody coming, oh, you a Diddy lover, because I'm not, right? Then you got Diddy, who hasn't even been convicted yet, and you're like, don't let this monster out on bail, this, that, and the other. But you got a man that is now our president who was accused of similar crimes. This one woman said that in a fitting room, I forgot what store it was, she said that Trump violated her. It just is like the Don said. I don't get how. And listen, I'm here for vote for who you want to vote for, do whatever it is you want to do, but it confuses me that he has said so much out of his own mouth. He is convicted, and it's like we just say, like the Don said, it comes with every excuse as to why it is okay that he does what he does and that he was able to run. And there's another man that we won't let come home with an ankle bracelet on because they said he witness tampered. It's just confusing to me. But yeah, make it make sense. It don't make sense. You got this Mike Jeffries, who, again, similar crimes as Diddy. He's home with an ankle bracelet on. You got, and listen, I'm not here to say who should be and who shouldn't be. I'm just saying here, let's think about this and make this make sense. You got, what's the young thug who, according to what they were saying, was terrorizing Atlanta. And people were celebrating on the Instagram, the TikTok, and everywhere else that this man is now home. And I'm putting it lightly by saying terrorized Atlanta. Was pumping substances into the neighborhood, killing our own brothers and sisters, and the people celebrating that he home. It's like we all need, the world needs therapy, literally, and remove Trump's name. If I just had candidate A and candidate B, and we list under candidate A, convicted felon, accused of SA, accused of R, incited, violence, Candidate B, I'm just wondering if there was no names and we just had, this is the description of candidate A, and I'm not talking about any physical attributes. I'm just talking about all the things that are pretty much on their resume. It was like what it was if you was hired for a job and you had 2 resumes and you don't know no name and you don't know no face. Can y'all really tell me y'all would still pick candidate A, the convicted felon? I just don't understand it. That's the part that I don't understand. And for me, it's like, vote for who you want to vote for. That, to me, that's your right. But if we had to do a blind thing here, would we do that? If you don't want to be here, conscious, mind, and love, then go. Because you sound crazy, because Diddy has not been convicted yet, but Trump was. So if the comparison is so annoying to you, you need to get out of here, because we having a grown folk conversation. The man was not convicted yet. Catch that. Where do you get criminal from when he was convicted of nothing yet? Nothing. Nothing yet. But Trump was convicted. Can we deal with facts? And so Diva is not saying, oh, this man should be on the street. I'm not saying he innocent. I'm talking facts right now. He was convicted of nothing yet. And if you go look at the facts, they even said he can vote, absentee vote from jail because he's not a convicted nothing yet. That's the problem with us. We just do street information. And we run with street information. And like the Don said, we don't want to read. We don't want to do nothing. We go with street information. Girl, criminal is a criminal. Diddy, Young Thug, criminal. What's so annoying? Where is a criminal at, child? And that's the problem with us. When it's a black person, we will bury each other and nothing happened yet. Give me my due process. But you got a criminal who is now our president. That's not annoying to you, but my comparison is annoying to you. Make that make sense. It's like people got to think. And that's what's annoying to me. So, anyway, guys. Where was I going? Anything else? Because I'm not even gonna flow into another story because I didn't realize this was going to, consume most of our time. Go ahead.
Diva, you didn't mention the LA County jail system, the largest county jail system in the state of California. Open the doors.
Come on, you better talk.
To the people who are incarcerated in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. So when we look at the map and we say, oh, well, she took a whopping. Well, this is the first time ever that they opened up that jail so folks can vote. Very interesting.
Very interesting, ain't it?
And if I may, I wanted to share one more thing with the panel and the chat. This isn't something I made up. This is something that came out today. And this is called Trump's Promise to Get Revenge. And this is his list of people that have been put together that he says he is going to go after today. We don't know how long the list is going to get. This is today's list. So he's going after the current president, Joe Biden. They give a whole example of why he's going after Joe Biden. He's going after the Vice President, Kamala Harris, former President Barack Obama, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, New York Attorney General Letitia James, the Manhattan Justice Arthur Engoron, the former Rep Liz Cheney, Special Counsel Jack Smith, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, former Chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Millett, former FBI Director James Comey, the entire Biden family, the former FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok, former FBI Attorney Lisa Page, Representative Adam Schiff, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, former Manhattan District Attorney Mark Pomerantz, former Trump Attorney Michael Cohen, U.S. Capitol Police Lieutenant Michael Byrd, Representative Jamal Baldwin, 51 intelligence professionals who signed a letter about Hunter Biden's laptop, members of the January 6th Select Committee, unspecified people engaged in election fraud, and political reporters, editors, publishers, ABC, Disney. That's today's list. Diva was so kind to allow me to read. First they came. I know some people don't believe what some people say. I believe what Donald Trump says. He said it before, and when he was elected, he implemented it. So I believe. But my faith is greater in God, and I trust him above all else.
Amen.
So I'm going to keep my head up. I encourage everybody else to do so. Keep moving forward and stay in prayer.
Amen. And on that note, unless anybody wants to say anything else before I close out. on that note, I want to say this. I want to thank y'all for being here for the tough conversations. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, everybody has the right to their opinion. Nothing is ever met. I used to say it. I got to get back to saying it. Okay. You got to catch the train. Don't catch feelings. Right. So it's like when we have these conversations, if I'm going to allow everybody to have their own thought process, then I got to allow it. Right. And then, we have to speak about it, release it, have a thought process, and move on. But nobody, I know mostly everybody up here. Matter of fact, I'm looking at the panel. No, everybody up here. Nobody is ever saying something to intentionally hurt someone else. Everybody has their thought process. Everybody has their opinion. And we're just grown folk over here. And we got to have grown conversation. All right. So listen, blessings to everyone. Stay prayed up. One of my panelists used to say that all the time, and I'm gonna have to say this: stay prayed up, because we're going to need it. So anyway, guys, listen, if you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button on the way out. Thanks for being here. Good night and goodbye, everybody.